So the part B of the exam always has two forms. One is an input form adding data to the database, and the other is a kind of selection form where you're using a form to find data from the tables. This is the second form, to select data from the tables. Okay, so the rubric will always have similar things to this. The form should not include validation for any fields. The form should not include an automated routine to save the data. You're not saving the data, just want to see what's there. We want to select a job role. The user should be able to select either Friday or Saturday as the day they want to check availability for. After the job role and day have been selected, the form must display a list of the names of staff members who are available and the total number of staff available for the job role and day. That is going to be in subforms. So now we're going to try to build that. So we want a form and an input box that allows us to select a job role. So we go to create, and this time, instead of creating a form based on a particular table, we're going to use form design here. We may as well put in a title right away, and then we don't have to worry about it later. And we can call it Rockhill Music Festival. So it's customized to the client. Staff availability. And we can do stuff with this. We want to increase the font size. Let's make it 18. Text align, we'll center it, and we'll give it semi-bold. I think bold would, yeah, semi-bold's making it too wide. It's just, there we go. Just about got enough space across the width to accommodate the whole label. And we'll leave the instructions because I'm not entirely sure what the instructions are going to look like. Now we want to put in a combo box, and the combo box is going to be for the job role. Lovely little combo box wizard, exactly what we want. We want to get the values from another table or query. We want to get them from the job role here, and what we want to see is the job role ID and the job role. Next, we'll have it ascending by job role, and that's what we are going to see. Next, what label would you want for your combo box? So let's have the label job role so that it's in English, it's clear, not in computerese, and finish at that. And so we want to call the box job role ID. That's going to be helpful later on. And the format, 2 columns, that's beautiful. That's exactly what we want. If we look at the form view, we now have a box that gives us the 3 different job roles. So as well as selecting the job role, we need to be able to select the day on which staff are available. So we're going to create another combo box, and this time we aren't going to select data from a table. We're going to type in the values we want, and we want one column. The values are going to be Friday and Saturday. Next, label, we want to call it availability. Finish at that, and we want to call this box availability. So we are selecting the availability and the job role. Design form view. We've got Friday and Saturday as availability there. So we want a list of names of the staff members who are available. So keeping the form open, we'll select a role and we'll select a day. And now we're going to create a query that's going to give us the staff available. First thing I'm going to do is save the form with a meaningful name. So yes, we'll save that, and we'll call this form staff availability. Form staff availability. I'm going to call it form staff availability 1 because I've created this before as a practice. I can't call it form staff availability. Staff availability is a sensible name. So open the form and put some values in, bartender and Friday. Now we're going to create a query. So go to query design. We want from the table staff. We want to see the staff forename and the staff surname. We'll have the staff surname ascending, and the job role ID and the availability. Job role ID and the availability. Let's close that and close the property sheet to give ourselves some more space. Job role ID value wants to be the value that is in forms dot form staff availability 1 dot job role ID. Now it always worries me when Access doesn't autofill stuff there, but I think that's right. Oh look, it's put in the little brackets so it recognizes what I'm talking about. And the availability. Now, in terms of availability, if we're looking for the people who are working on Friday, then it's going to be the people who are working on Friday plus the people who are working on both days. If you're working on both days, you are necessarily working on Friday. So here we're going to put forms. You see, now I've got the autofill. Forms dot form staff availability 1 dot availability or like both star. And the reason I'm writing or like both star. You could probably write both or both days if you've created your form correctly, your previous form correctly, your staff input form. I made a mistake on my staff input form, and instead of having both days, I had both. So in my table staff here, I've got both days in the data that was original, and then both where I've been entering data. I then changed it so I've got both days, but as a precaution, I'm saying or like both. Now, if I run that query, I can run that query design, run, and I get a load of people who are working. We see Kian's working on both, Ilyana is working on both days, Marina on both. So we've got 9 people reported in that query. And I'm going to save this query as staff available 1, query staff available 1. Okay. And in my form design view, I'm now going to put in a subform. Does that say subform? There's it, subform, subreport. We're going to create a subform here. And we're going to use an existing table or query. And we're going to use the query staff available 1. We want to see the staff forename and the staff surname. No. Take that back. Staff forename and the staff surname. They're just asking to see a list of the staff who are available. Go to next. What name would you like for your... I'm going to call this staff available and finish. So, yeah. So now we've got a heading here which says staff available and a subform. The subform is displaying the forename and the surname. I think that's quite wide. Let's I want to get out of that. Let's have a look at how that looks. View, yeah. So we're seeing the forename and the surname and a lot of white space there. Let's see if we can make that a bit narrower. Design view. There we go. And make that a lot narrower. Bring the form in again. I'm going to Control X that and Control V it. Give a little bit of white space between the label and the subform, like that. View. So there we go. Forename and surname. We don't know the surname of the of Kian Patel. 9 rows. We can give it a bit more space to display. You can scroll down and see all the people on the list. We could design it. We could give it a little more space there. it's a matter of taste whether you want to see the record selectors properties, status bar text, other. If we take out the let's try this one here, the properties, we don't want the navigation buttons. There we go. So we're just seeing a list of full name and surname of the people who are available on that day. So we have the list of staff members available for this role and day. We've taken away the record selector, which actually gives us a count of the number of people. We're going to display the number of people available. So the first thing we're going to do is create a query that will give the number of staff available. I'm going to start from this query here. So I'm going to go, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to copy this query and paste it in there, paste it in there, and I'm going to give it a name of query staff available count 1. So I've got a query staff available count already, and then go into this one, design view. This time I just want a count of, well, the count of the staff forename will do. Put in the totals. We want the count. We don't need the surname at all. Cut. And these now become wheres, where the job role ID is the job role selected, and where the availability is either the day selected or, in my case, like both. If I run that query, I get the number 9, 1 value. Okay. So that gives us a query. Save that. Yes. And back in our form, we go into design view, and we're going to add a second subform. Second subform. I'll put that here. And we're going to use an existing table or query. We're going to use the query staff available count 1. Of course, we're going to have the count of staff forename. You could have used the count of staff surname. It doesn't make any difference. You could have changed the query and used count of staff ID. Just need to count the number of rows. And if we want to, we can call this total number of staff available and finish on that. So we've got a title there that says total number of staff available, and then we've got a subform displayed, which is really rather large. If we have a look at the form view now, there we go. So we've got the list of staff and the count of staff available. Let's tidy up the presentation down here. Go back into design view. I'm going to cut that and put it back. Want to make that one. Okay, so we're making that. So we'll align the top of these fields. Arrange, align, top. More about it, we'll align these ones. We'll align those ones to the left. Don't think that changed very much. So this one here, we want to form properties of that form. We don't want to show the datasheet view. We want to have the form view only, and we don't want to see any of these min-max buttons, the close button, the control box button. We don't want scroll bars. We don't want the navigation buttons. Okay, don't want the record selectors. This is all kind of nice to have stuff, which you may well not have time to do in your exam. We want to delete that label. We'll move the count of staff forename right into the top corner there, and we'll make this detail, smaller. Don't think that's going to work. Let's go into here, drag that a little bit further. We want to drag that up to there. Let's have a look at that. Move that back so that it's more centered. Go to home, view. Right, so we are seeing we've just about got the number 9 in there, and it's saying count of staff. I don't want this count of staff to appear. So let's go back into the design view, and I thought that I had fixed that. Subform in new window, the subform, allow layout view. Let's try clicking that off. I want a form view. Oh, default view is datasheet. Default view is a single form. And we can move that up there like that. Move that there like that. And move that up there like that. Okay, so close that. Yes, I want to save the changes. Look at the view, total staff number available. So we've got the total number of staff available in a box, Let's go to the design view, and we'll make this one smaller. The way to do this, of course, I say, if I'd have thought about it, if it was so obvious. So the subform, the size of the subform, it's 2.199 centimeters wide. Why do we? And the important one is here, 0.582 high. So 2.116 or 2.116 wide and 2.582 wide. If we make this one 2.116 wide and 0.582 high, then now we're just seeing total number of staff available 9 in a box. That's great, or is it? So the question I'm asking is, does the form work? This is the form staff availability 1. At the moment it's showing that bartender Friday we've got 9 members of staff working on Friday. We've got a list of them. If we change this to Saturday, nothing changes. And if we go for security on Saturday, again, nothing changes. That doesn't seem likely. If we close the form, and yes, we want to change all those, yeah, change the form, and we'll open it again. It opens to a blank. If we select bartender and Saturday, nothing happens. So what we want to do is make this form, if we go into design view and then come back into form view, it populates. We don't want to be doing that every time. We don't want users to be messing about with design view. So what we want to happen is that this query runs whenever these values change. One of these values, well, either or both of these values changes. So go into design view, and on this field, the event on change, we want to run a macro, and the activity that we want is requery. What we want to requery is the, what have we called it? Staff available. And we also want to requery, and have I called that count of staff available? No. We'll call it staff available for the time being. Close that. Yes. Total number of staff available. Total number of staff available. Go back in here. Event. And this is total number of staff available. So now we've got bartender. If we change the role to security, we get a different list. If we change the name to steward, we get a different list. If we change the date, we don't get a different list, which again, so we do exactly the same thing. We put a requery on this field, design view, event on change, requery, staff available, and requery total number of staff available. Okay. So now steward on Saturday, there are 7, and there are 8 on Friday. On the bartender on Friday, there are 9. On Saturday, there are also 9, but they're a different 9. So my brother is there on Friday, but he isn't there on Saturday. And stewards, yeah, again, it changes when the form changes. So now we want to put in some instructions on how to use the form. I don't like the way this overhangs, so we'll just go into design view. We can make this a bit wider and move that over there. Going to move all this down so that we have space for our label, and put in a label. Put in a label. Select the job role and availability to see the stuff available, and select the job role and day for availability to see the stuff available to work on that day. Yeah, so there we go. A meaningful title, instructions, combo boxes for the form, a list of stuff, and a count of the total number of stuff available.